Fellas, today we're going to be going over how to get the new Exotic SMG Barrow-Dyad. Now, originally we thought that this SMG was going to be time-gated until Act 3 of this episode. Turns out, that's not the case. You can actually get this exotic today. We're going to go over exactly how to go about doing so. Now, to kick things off, you want to load into the Nether activity. We simply just did the Explore version, and you want to look for a Taken Blight. Now, for us, we loaded into the Hall of Souls, the Court of Oryx area, but there are other locations that these blights can spawn. Now keep in mind, this is not the same blight that rewards you a boon and it's sitting there spawning ads over and over. This blight is almost like tucked up in an area, almost like it's out of the way. As you can see here at the top of this pillar in Oryx's court on the right-hand side. Now, as you approach the pillar, you'll start to see these platforms that you can jump onto, and now you can make your way up to the blight. Then you want to jump into the blight. You'll be teleported to this Taken realm, and there will be a portal. You don't want to go through that. Instead, you're going to look at the green shield that's blocking the way and the plate that's on the ground with an arrow and tablet in front of it. What you want to do is actually stand on the plate. Then you want to shoot the tablet in front of you until a rune appears, and you'll see in the bottom left hand in your corner that it says something whispers to the right. It's at this moment, guys, that you now need to step off the plate to the right. This will then teleport you into that sealed off room on the other side of the green shield. Now, once you're through, you'll see a podium with something that you can collect called a Taken Osseous Fragment. Now, before moving on, as mentioned, these Taken blights can spawn in other locations around the Nether. We do have a screenshot here showing one in the Trenchway, which is close to where the Tormentor boss is, but it does seem like there's a bit of RNG involved in these blights to spawn. Now, sometimes they didn't always spawn. Keep in mind, you can just continually keep loading into the Nether activity, or have you and your friends load into different instances, and when one of you finds a blight, that's when you want to jump on through, and now you can begin the quest line. Now, back to that quest. Once you have the Osseous Fragment, you now want to head to the Shaping Slab in Eris's apartment to pick up the quest that is called the Taken Path. The first step of this quest says that you'll need to see through the Hive's efforts to hide secrets and to apply the scotopic rune. Now, to do this, you want to go into the Shaping Slab again, and under Heretical Rituals, you'll click into this first box called the Runic Enhancements, and then you need to select the 7th rune, which is your scotopic rune, which if you haven't purchased it yet, costs 150 citrus shards. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, guys, don't even watch this guide. Go check out our original guide on this season, the Nether activity and Heresy and all that jazz. Now, if you can't select it, even though you have it unlocked, just remember, unselect some of the other runes that you may already have selected. This will then free up the slot and should now allow you to slot the scotopic rune. Now on to step 2. This tasks us with finding something that the Hive has concealed somewhere in Saurus Harbor. Here, guys, you just want to load into Saurus Harbor right here on the moon. Make your way to the K1 Revelation Lost Sector. You're going to head through this, you're going to jump across the gap, and you should see a Taken orb above the shield. You're going to shoot to destroy it, and the shield will disappear, and now there will be a plate with an arrow to stand on, just like you saw before. You'll have another tablet in front of you, and you stand on that plate, shoot the tablet until the rune appears. This time, a text will pop up that says something behind you whispers. This means you'll want to go backwards off of the plate this time, and now you'll be teleported back near the beginning of the Lost Sector. Now, if you're wondering why my footage looks like this, I actually stepped off to the right because we were still figuring things out and how this mechanic worked. However, it was my editor that actually stepped backwards, which is why we successfully teleported. Now, a bunch of Taken blights will now start to spawn, as well as a ton of Taken enemies. Clear out those ads, and now you'll be up against a Taken ogre called the Keeper of Power. Once you defeat him, he will then drop another Taken Osseous Fragment that you can now collect. Now, the next quest step is going to have you find another fragment that the Hive have concealed in the Forgotten Shore. This is in this part of the Cosmodrome, guys. You can load up into the top point of this map and literally make your way working backwards, or you can take the long way from the patrol point near Shauhan. But essentially, you want to make your way to this ship, and inside of this ship will be a lost sector. Now, you're going to head down through the maze and follow our path until you reach another Taken orb to shoot, which is covering the plate with the arrow with that same tablet in front of it. Stand on the plate. This time, the arrow is facing forward, and when you shoot the tablet, you'll now get something that says something whispers forward. Here, you'll step forward this time. This will then teleport you forward to another plate, except this one will be pointed left. Here, you'll stand on the plate. The text will appear saying something whispers to the left. Shoot the tablet until the rune appears, and then step off the plate to the left. This will then teleport you again with one more plate to stand on with the arrow pointing backwards. Step on it, shoot the rune, and then step off backwards. This will then teleport you where the chest for the Lost Sector is, and a bunch of Taken will spawn. You want to clear them out, guys. Jump down to the lower platform here. There'll be even more Taken, and after that, you want to head back into the tunnel where you'll find even more Taken. Essentially, just keep following the path that the Taken came out of if you ever get lost in here, and eventually you'll reach the end again where an ogre will spawn, and then another osseous fragment will be available to be picked up. Now next, you're going to want to head back to the shaping slab. Now it's here that you're going to pick up 3 more quests, one being the Curse of Endurance, the second one being Curse of Urgency, and the third one being Curse of Revenge. Now these 3 quests need to be completed until you can continue back with the main quests. Don't be concerned, guys, these are not long nor difficult. Now let's start with the Curse of Revenge. This as you go into the Nightmare Hunt Pride, which is actually at the bottom here when looking at the moon destination, and what it's going to require you is to use a taken relic. Here you're just going to launch into the mission on the moon, make your way through it just like you would normally until you reach the boss room where the Nightmare of Skulls is. Now in this boss room, you're going to find this taken relic. Interact with it and it will now give you the Taken Curse of Revenge. Now this gives you taken powers, allowing you to shoot essentially taken projectiles at enemies, along with a super that can be charged up, which you can use close to the boss to deal a good chunk of damage. Now you notice at the top there is a timer, which if it expires will result in you dying, but you can extend your timer just by killing enemies. And honestly, don't stress, because if you die, you can literally just res yourself right back up and you can pick the taken relic up and continue doing damage. All you're really doing here, guys, is using the taken power, killing enemies and the boss, and then once he's dead, you can then dunk your taken curse right here, which will complete that first part of the quest. Now next we move on to Curse of Endurance. This is basically the exact same thing, except it's going to be in Altars of Sorrow on the moon. You're going to head there will be these big taken blights in the sky, and now you'll be able to accept the Curse of Endurance and pick up the taken curse again. Now you want to just run altars just like you would normally, kill enough enemies until the quest completes. Now like the last one, here you do not have to dunk your taken curse. It just completes when you get enough kills, and now we can move on to our final quest of these 3, Curse of Urgency. Now this has you go to the Hallowed Grove Lost Sector. This is located in the EDZ right here, and it's here that you can pick up another taken curse. This time around though, the timer is a bit shorter, but again, just kill some enemies, and this will extend your timer. And upon reaching the end of the Lost Sector, there will be a spot that you can dunk your taken curse, and now this part of the quest is completed. Now next up, you will need to find 3 taken osseous fragments. These 3 fragments will be found in the Nether, and essentially one for each of the 3 quests that you just did. Now you want to just load up into the Explore version of the Nether activity, and here you want to look for Hive Thrall statues, with one being present in each of the spawn locations in the Nether. Starting from the Trenchway, head through where you would spawn in, and where the Tormentor boss is, go up the stairs here and through the doors until you reach the other side. Then you want to head to the right, and here you'll see the Hive statue. Now it will say Call to Power and will allow you to interact with it, and doing so will then spawn in a wizard mini boss. Defeat them and then head back to the statue, and there should be an osseous fragment to collect. Now the next area we want to do is the Mausoleum. From where you spawn in this area, you want to head down towards where the boss of this area would be, and up against the wall behind these tentacles, you'll see another Hive statue to interact with. This one spawns a taken wizard mini boss. Defeat them and then head back to the statue to collect that fragment. And then finally, we have the Hall of Souls. Now the statue here is pretty much the right of where you first spawn in. Just walk up to it, interact with it. Some enemies will spawn, including a mini boss dread. Kill them and then head back to the statue, and you can collect the final osseous fragment, which then unlocks the Exotic Mission Derealize, which you can launch right here from the node in the last city. Now let me just say, you can do all 3 areas of the Nether activity just progressing through it normally, or you can just continually reload into the activity privately until you get each of the spawn points. And now that you know where the Hive statues are, this will make this a lot faster than how we did it, where we essentially did an entire Nether run. Now on to the Exotic Mission. This takes place on the Dreadnought and has you spawning right there at the Mausoleum. Your first objective is pretty straightforward. You just got to defeat all the dread enemies, so take them out, and there'll also be a Tormentor here as well. Now be careful, because there are eyes in the air, and if you're looking at them, they will give you stacks of suffocating terror, which will kill you. So look away, guys. Don't make eye contact. You'll die. But fret not, just look away, and if you got to, dip into cover to shed some stacks. Now once you kill these enemies, you can now go through this taken portal to progress. You're gonna head through, and just like in the Nether activity, you're gonna run through the Ascendant Plane, and then you'll exit through another portal. Now this is gonna spit you out into the Trenchway, where you'll face off against the Dread Commander. Now once you remove this small portion of health on the boss, they'll actually go immune and then start to spawn in a bunch of taken enemies. Now among them will be 6 enemies called Blight Sentinels, who you'll have to take out. This will then cause 2 yellow bar ogres to spawn, who upon defeating will drop the taken curse from the earlier quest steps. Now this works practically the exact same way, where you'll have to kill a bunch of enemies to empower this curse, to pick it up and get to blast it. Now you'll know you've killed enough enemies when the mission objective changes to destroy blights, which will cause you to become torn between dimensions. Now just like in the Kingsfall raid, you want to look up out for those glowing spots on the blights here. And it's in these locations that you'll be allowed to go up to and deposit your curse to destroy the blights. Now, you're going to do this 2 times, which will then allow you to do damage to the boss further. And once the boss reaches that next threshold of health, they'll go immune again, and you'll essentially repeat the same process all over. You'll kill the 6 sentinels, you'll kill the taken ogres, you'll charge the curse, and then dunk the curse into the blights to destroy them. Now, once that's done a second time, rather than damaging the boss again, they'll actually seemingly run away, but you'll quickly be teleported into another taken realm, just like before, and now you'll be able to kill this boss. Now, once defeated, you'll get some more silent dialogue, and you'll notice above this tablet that there will be 4 rune symbols that appear above it. Just like before, you want to shoot this tablet to get a rune to appear, and then exit the plate in the direction that the arrow is facing. But this time, there's a catch. You'll notice right here, a timer is ticking down that says reality tears, and that's because you need to step off the plate in the order that appears above the tablets. For example, the order we had was hamburger, A, Vex, and then this symbol right here. I'm not even gonna pretend to know what they are. I probably should. I could have been more professional, but I call this one table, I think. I'm not exactly fluent in Hive. Essentially, though, we have to lock these runes in this order by stepping off the plate in the direction of the arrow when that rune pops up on the tablet after shooting it. Now, this may take multiple cycles, like it did for us. Even more so, if you get shown a rune that's not in the correct order, stop. Literally just wait, and it will teleport you to the next room with hopefully the correct rune in the order you're trying to shoot it in. Again, I'm not really sure if this is the same Hive code for everybody. I had hamburger, A, Vex, crab, or something. Feel free to let me know in the comments below if that was the case for you. Now, once you've done this correctly for all 4, this will then teleport you to this area in the Trenchway, which is crazy. From here, you want to head on up towards this taken blight. Now, the path here is pretty straightforward, but I'm going to pause here quickly to show you the way. Now, once you're up here, you'll be able to pick up the Corrupted Fragment, which completes the first part of the exotic quest. Now you want to jump down this chute here, which will take you all the way down to the Invasion Bay. Now, this whole entire area, which is wild, is essentially a huge jump puzzle. You're going to be jumping through holes in the walls and then moving up level after level, going back and forth across this big chasm. Use whatever can help you with maneuverability, guys, whether it's stompies, a sword, lime ramparts. I honestly just use my base jump, but there is a lot of traversing in this area, so use whatever you need to use to help you. Now, first you want to jump up here and just follow the path forward all the way up, but be very careful as there are taken things that will push you off, as well as these spikes that periodically shoot out and will straight up ruin your day. Now, once you get to this first giant shrieker, you'll notice another one that's blocked off. That's essentially where we're trying to go. Here you want to head to the left side and just follow the path upwards until you reach the exit, which gives you access to this shrieker. Now, once here, you want to head across to the right side, hop through these holes, and you'll notice that there is a Hive crystal. Shoot it, and keep a lookout for the other ones, guys, because we actually have to destroy 3 in total to progress later on. Now, another Hive crystal can be found opposite of that last one. And if you actually jump through this hole here, the last crystal can be found inside the right wall, located way up near the ceiling. Honestly, kind of a difficult angle for me to get to pop that crystal. You can actually kind of like jump up to where those giant arrows come out of, and it has like a little spot that you can stand on. Now, this wall is also where the Hive gate that we're needing to open is located. Once that's destroyed, this will then open this gate, allowing you to progress, and you can just follow the path upwards. Now, once you're at this last shrieker, you want to head left to this hole. Go through the wall and once again head upwards till you reach this platform. Now you want to head through the door and this will take you to the boss encounter. Now, you do get a rally flag before this boss. Make sure to put on your best weapons for this, guys. You're going to need something to put out some decent DPS. But in this encounter, you're going to be fighting 2 bosses. Zirkur, not taken, and Zirkur, taken, who actually has some pretty dope lore. Now, firstly, to start the encounter, you want to run up and then interact with this altar. And right there, you can acquire the exotic, and you can actually equip it right there on the spot, which completes the next part of the quest. The last part, though, is to finish out the mission. Now, to start this, you'll need to destroy all these taken blights by shooting them, and once you do that, this will then spawn the first boss alongside some enemies. DPS them down, and once you do enough damage, this will make everyone torn once again. Then the bosses will swap positions, and the taken version will take over. And the lore on this boss is pretty wild. Definitely read the lore on the SMG. Now, once that boss gets sufficiently damaged, you'll have to destroy some more of these taken blights inside of the arena, arena, which would then cause the other bosses to come in. Now, you do this a couple of times till you kill the not taken version of the boss, which causes a giant taken blight to spawn in on the taken boss. Now, the objective would then change to seal the anteroom. And straight up, fellas, you are retreating out of this area from where you entered, and you have to capture this hive plate. And like one of the coolest things we have ever done in this game is you close the doors and you seal this guy in there with these hive runes. After doing so, a chest will now spawn that you can loot, and this will complete your mission. Now you can head back to the taken slab and you can claim the Dyadic Ascension quest, which unlocks the intrinsics for the Barrow-Dyad. Now, part of this quest is going to be time gated, at least for the time being. And the first step of this quest actually tasks you with being high enough rank at the shaping slab to claim the Steal Your Nerves upgrade, which is a rank 5 upgrade. And again, if you haven't checked out our guide on how to rank up, how to get through the nether activity, we'll link that down below. Now, after acquiring that, you'll then need to head back into the nether, and you need to pick up 6 osseous fragments. Now, so far, at least from my experience, I was able to find 6 fragments in each area, and you can literally just run around and you'll see them right there on your HUD, a little icon indicating where these osseous fragments are. We're going to show you the locations though of each, and you can just follow along. Now, once you collect all 6 of these, now you need to reach rank 9 with the shaping slab, as this step requires you to unlock Unbreakable Will. Once that's been unlocked, you now need to head back into the nether and pick up 6 more fragments, which again, at least from my experience, every single one of the zones that I loaded into always seemed to have 6 fragments. I just had to look for them, but I'll show you the locations here in the Trenchway. Now, so far, guys, that seems to be it that we can do there for Barrow-Dyad. Step 5 of this quest seems to be time-gated, as now it requires us to have the Moment of Clarity, which currently is not available, and this may even be something that's not available until perhaps Act 2, hopefully not Act 3. Now, let me just say, there's still so much to discover about this SMG. When you go and look at Light GG, you'll notice it has this normal lineup of perks that most craftable exotics have, from barrel perks to mag perks to different grips. However, its trait is what's so interesting. You'll notice that we have Taken Divergence, or in this case, Taken Resolution, which is on the weapon by default. But then we also have Taken Ambition, which allows those blind seekers of the weapon to burrow in the targets and explode. And then to go a step further, we have Exotic Catalysts, from high impact reserves to hatchling to one for all and target lock. We've already done our live review of this exotic. I do believe the weapon is pretty good. It does require a lot to get it. I think the quests and the secrets and the mystery surrounding this thing is really cool. The lore around it is also really dope, but I'm I'm greatly banking on that Taken Ambition trait swap off and those exotic catalysts. Those are going to be the things that's truly the deciding factor for how this exotic performs. So that's it, guys. That is our quest guide. We'll probably have another one following this up as soon as we get access to the exotic catalyst and all its other upgrades. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.